Were you wondering what happened to me, Aster Fortuna, Bard Extraordinaire? Yes, you know that I jumped back into World 83 with 2 guards in pursuit of Nondle the Nimble. But don't you want to know what happened next? Of course you do! Prepare yourself for yet another one of my exciting adventures.
It's only been a few hours since a group of hoodlums, a pirate, an armored drunkard, and a strangely dressed halfling did the unthinkable, smashing the soul jar. Off record here, they didn't know that Aster was part of the group because Aster hid around the corner the whole time. They released countless souls, and these souls flew straight upward, lifting up the roof of the world for a short time and carrying some people away with them. Not all the spirits managed to escape, and most people have hidden in their homes from the floating gray mists. Most of these spirits appear to be harmless, though some are clearly malicious, haunting the living. In the island city of Arrival, in the high city to the northeast, where the nobility live, a plump, bored-looking halfling sits in a chair on his balcony, looking out over the city. He's wearing a colorful, expensive outfit in dark blue. Even though he is relaxing in his own home, he has a short sword at his waist. There is a good view of the sky through a break in the tarps here. That's why he bought this house. He's been watching the folk below run around in a panic and pointlessly barricade themselves in their homes. And he's been watching the sky for any signs of spirits returning or the roof of the world lifting up again. Far offshore, the puffs of smoke coming from the Iron Empire ships surrounding the island are barely visible. Next to him, reclining in a lounge chair, is a very large, half-orc woman. She is sipping wine from a glass, her fingers glittering with gold rings, occasionally looking up into the sky as the evening sun dims. An accordion lies on the ground next to her, as well as a flute and an enormous great axe.
These are interesting times we live in.
It's strange things happening, that's for sure.
Look at them, like little ants running around.
Well, the world's gone crazy. What do you expect's gonna happen? You know, back in the day with Symphonium, I don't think I was given a fair deal.
What do you mean, a fair deal?
Let's just say my pay, it could have been better.
But you are compensated very well, I think.
Sure. You think that? Look at you now. Look where all we did brought you. I want to get off this island, and I need money to do that.
But you see, okay, hold on. I was the entrepreneur. I took all of the risks. And you see, you were paid as an employee of mine. And because I'm trying to make a very pro-capitalist point of view here. But you see, I should acquire most of the wealth because it was me who took the risk. So
you were the one taking the risk. I was the one out there fighting, protecting us. And, you know, without me, you would have been dead long ago.
Well, this could be true, but you see, we had an agreement. We cannot have an agreement and then change this.
I think we can.
All right, well, in the middle of your argument, there's a loud rumble from above. And far up in the sky, you see the sun appears to jiggle a bit. And the roof of the world again floats upward, just like before. And except this time, instead of being lifted up by misty souls, instead, it's just floating up apparently on its own. More gray misty souls go floating rapidly upward toward the sun, attempting to make it out. It's hard to see past the brightness of the sun, even as dim as it is, being late in the evening, but you think you see something entering the world from above. But it rapidly vanishes, and a great many souls go rushing out through the hole in the sky.
Well, that is less ghosts for us to worry about.
You say less ghosts, I say that ain't good one way or another.
But what good would more gold do for you if
I want to get off this island.
But it doesn't matter. We are all stuck here together. It doesn't matter whether you live at 1, 2, or 3.
I want to get off this island. I don't understand why you're not getting that.
Well, what are you going to do? Sail past the iron ships? I can't see the ships, but they're there.
You can't see the ships, but you can see puffs of smoke from their wood-burning engines.
You're not getting past that.
With enough money, I might be able to.
You're so good at this. Let us come to an agreement then.
That's what I'd like
how
to.
How much are we talking about?
How much should we be?
How much are we talking
Name an
about?
outrageous figure.
Well, for all the deals I did for you, I'm gonna say 10,000 gold.
Wow.
He said outrageous. I went
Mama,
That's
outrageous.
outrageous.
Mama says, I didn't think you could count this high. So
I learned a few things since we've been traveling.
let us have a let's see. I don't know how much gold even exists. So
Right?
You could pay that, but it would hurt.
okay.
As you're talking, you're continuing to discuss this, you begin to hear a sound in the distance, and it gradually starts to come closer. It sounds like someone shouting very loud.
Do you hear that?
Yes, but I can't make out any words. So
Doesn't sound like a good thing.
So it does start to get closer, and it sounds like someone's voice is being magically amplified. And the voice says, "Attention, citizens of arrival. You are summoned to a meeting by the remains of the soul jar at the start of the night watch. The noble officials of the city council are particularly important in this meeting. Labos, relax your grip. I'll not let you fall. Cut it out. I repeat, meet at the soul jar at the start of the night watch to receive some important news and plan for the future."
Mama Sass points at Gaston and says, "We're not done with this talk."
The voice grows nearer, and a figure comes into view, flying just above the level of the tarps above the city. It appears to be a human, and a halfling is riding on his back looking nervous. The human is wearing dark clothing and a hooded cloak. Gaston, make a perception check.
oh, today's gonna suck. It's a 7.
A 7. Yeah, you don't know who that is.
What is that? I cannot miss.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. Do you want to take a close look as well?
Sure.
All right.
Oh, that's not good either. That's a 5.
Nope. You can see there's a halfling sitting on this man's back, and they're flying around, and he's repeating this message, saying that everyone is summoned, particularly the nobles, the members of the city council. They are invited, or rather summoned, to a meeting at the remains of the soul jar.
Does that involve the Danes? Are the Danes nobles, like high nobles?
Yeah, they're not members of the city council, but they are nobles. Yes.
Gotcha.
Anyways, yeah, you don't recognize either of these people.
Gaston's squinting through the window, and should we trust this? You think we should go there? It sounds like gather up and for the end of the world and kill all the noble people. Long live la revolution!
Well, for a certain fee, I'd be willing to go with you as some protection.
Why are you always thinking about money? There's more to life than this.
There's more to life off this island.
Okay, let's go. We can trust me one last time. Come with me. You protect me this last time. I'll make sure you'll get off this island.
Okay.
It is my word.
I trust you, Gaston Quickfoot.
Good.
I trust you.
And you know that Gaston is actually a member of the city council now. He has risen to high places by means unknown. What are you going to do then? You're going to head downstairs and head to the remains of the soul jar then?
It's close to sundown, right?
Oh, the sun doesn't go down.
Well,
it just
yeah,
dims.
he dims,
Yeah, but
sun
it's basically
dim.
dimming to its dimmest setting around this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my stuff, my royal,
Equipment?
my council garb, whatever I gotta look like.
All right. Oh, you got to get. Well, you're dressed pretty fancy right now.
Okay, it should be
All
fine.
right, but are you getting anything else? Of course, you've got your luck blade on you. Anything else?
Since these are dark times, I walk over to this lock box. Gaston walks over to the lock box, kind of opens it, and then there's this dark looking blade, and he'll take that out and stuff that under his jacket too.
Yeah, he's got blood gulper.
Now I'm ready for anything, even Mama says. This is more to protect me from hell than anyone else.
So as you're getting ready to go, Mama Sass is picking up her accordion and her flute. It's only been a few minutes as you ponder what the meaning of this message is and get ready to go. But again, as you step out into the street, you can again see something appear in the ring in the middle of the sun. And it even blocks some of the light briefly, only to disappear again. And it is followed by 2 more things. Are they people, perhaps? You're not sure. They appear to be enormous, but then they suddenly vanish. And immediately afterward, the roof reappears over the sun, and souls stop shooting upward again. It looks like nearly all the souls made it out that time. You don't see any more figures fly by, and no one's making announcements. What do you want to do?
I'm so confused. As someone who listens to the show, I have no idea what's going on.
Well, yeah, you're many episodes
I'm
behind.
so far behind.
Yeah, behind where the most recent recording is, even if you've listened to the most recent episode. Now, I think Jessica is actually farther ahead because she's been listening to them before they're released.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
sneaky.
quite caught up.
But she's not
I'm
quite caught
still, I'm like 3 episodes behind. So
I haven't even finished the editing and adding music to the episode that describes the event, these recent events, though. So neither of you could even have figured out what's going on at all.
What is happening?
So, Aster, you and your 2 guard companions have just jumped into World 83, and you've been rapidly shrunk down. Now you're falling very quickly, though it's still a long way down. Looking up, squinting against the brightness of the sun, you can see enormous hands lifting the enormous lid slowly back into place. But before it's set into place, you hear a voice in your head.
Okay.
Aster Fortuna, there is only a brief moment remaining. We on the outside will need the people of the inside. So said Foresight. Prepare your people. I give you my blessing and wish you luck.
Oh. Ooh.
The voice suddenly cuts off as the lid closes. You're overwhelmed with the heat from the sun. It's a good thing you're falling very quickly. Staying here long would likely be fatal,
Gotcha.
even with the sun as dim as it is. Please note that there are 4 20-sided dice on the table in front of you. Those are special blessings from Seafoam Wanderer.
Ooh.
Each of them gives you a chance to re-roll something during the game session. It could be your own roll, a friend's roll, or an opponent's roll, but you only get 4 of them, so use them when it counts. Got it?
Got it.
We're going to call your 2 guard companions Ansna and Gerlos.
Enzna?
Ansna, A-N-S-N-A.
Okay.
Ansna and
Ansna.
Gerlos, G-E-R-L-O-S.
Got it. Gerlos and Enzna.
Ansna. Ansna is a half-elf, and Gerlos is a human. They each have a spear and a shield. Ansna is wearing splint mail and has a crossbow, and Gerlos is wearing chainmail and has 2 javelins. Gerlos is screaming loudly as they're falling, and Ansna is trying to calm him down. What do you want to do?
First, as I'm falling and I hear the voice of the Seafoam Wanderer, I don't have enough time to think because I'm falling to my death. But
You've got a long way down to go, actually.
okay, but I do go, oh, what a beautiful, sultry voice that was. And then I look at my screaming compatriot and the other one trying to calm them down. I'm like, calm down, we're gonna be fine. I have something that will, save our lives. I didn't just jump out of the sky for no reason. Just give it a second. We need to get closer to the ground.
All right. Well, Ansna catches up with Gerlos and clamps her hand over his mouth. He's at least silenced for the moment. And she looks at you, and she says, I hope you have something planned. We're falling very fast.
Trust me, I'm Aster Fortuna, bard extraordinaire. We're gonna be okay. And in my head, I go, I really hope that's true. And I get prepared to cast Featherfall on all of us.
How close to the ground do you want to get? And are you steering toward any particular part of the city?
Just so in case something goes wrong, I want to get as close as we can to some of the tarps.
The tarps are all over the place.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
I want to kind of aim close to where the Dane family is,
Okay.
but like situated between that household and the soldier.
Okay. Right. So you know that the Dane family lives in the high city, to the northeast of the central part of the city. And you are falling toward the city because it's in the middle of the world. You know that, and by the way, before you originally left Arrival, Gaston suddenly struck it rich somehow by means unknown and sort of retired from the soothing symphonium and enjoyed being rich. And that was pretty much the last contact that you had with him was when he had sort of retired and you decided to strike out on your own.
Gotcha.
So you're aiming for somewhere between the Dane family household and the Soul Jar.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You start to fall close to the ground, and you can see the tarps now as individual squares. They're looming closer and closer. Do you want to drink the potion?
Yes.
All right, you drink the
It's
potion.
time.
And you can choose who you want to affect. I guess you choose your 2 young companions.
I choose one and then I choose a bird. it's really close. I'm joking.
No, all right,
I
okay.
choose them both.
Ansna and Gerlos are now affected by Featherfall as well, and you all drift slowly downward toward a tarp and land on the tarp. It softly cushions your landing. Unless you want to land between the tarps. Do you want to try to aim between some tarps and land on the street?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay, all right. So you float between the tarps. They follow you down, and you land on the street. People are sort of gasping as you float down from the air. They've seen magic before. It's not uncommon or unknown for people to fly around. But it is weird for 3 people to just sort of fall out of the air and land in the street. But they give you a little bit of space, and you land safely. You're in the city. It looks pretty much the same as you left it, except that it's nighttime. What do you want to do?
As I land, I want to land kind of like with my legs together, and then go into a bow as I settle down.
All
to the
right,
ground.
you bow to the crowd. Are you trying to make it an impressive sort of performance?
Yeah, like I just did something
roll
amazing.
a performance check.
Okay. Ooh, that's a lot.
You don't get to use the Guitar of the Bazaar to add to your check, by the
No,
way.
no. So it's going to be a 24.
Wow. All right, you get some enthusiastic applause.
I still got it. I tell the others when they land. See, I told you. Nothing to worry about.
Ansna and Gerlos walk up to you. Gerlos looks like he's feeling kind of sick, and he says, "So, what's the plan? Do we need to say so like? We can stop saying so like, right?
Yes, please stop doing that.
Right.
So annoying.
Okay. So what are we doing, boss?
So, I almost said it. I almost said,
You almost did.
Yeah.
It's like hard to break that habit,
yeah.
you know?
Okay, so like, I think we need to find Nondle. Have you guys even seen him before?
Yeah, we've seen him like sneaking around before, talking to Ogabar. Yeah, we've seen him. Yeah, he's sneaky looking.
We need
Well
to take
spoken
him
though.
down.
Oh. That sounds dangerous.
Oh no, we're gonna take him down. We have the skills. You two look like amazing warriors ready to throw down.
For the listeners, they do not.
And then in my head I say, oh no, they might die. I need to be as sharp as a knife.
Yeah, you might need to get some help.
Yeah, so then I go, all right, so let's move about. I don't know what his plans are, but I know it must be something big. He hit a rival. If we're falling from the sky, a rival is in the middle. That's why we got here. So Nondle must be somewhere in a rival. We just need to find him. I'd like to get support from one of the families, because if he's trying to do something conniving, he's going to want to get the support of the higher ups here. So I'd like to get help from a good friend of mine's family. So I'd like to head towards the Dane family. You don't know them, maybe, but they're nice. They're great.
You head toward the Dane family household. As you approach the household, you can see that there are nobles from around the city spilling out into the streets, all talking excitedly. And you can see, you don't see the Dane family among them, but you do see the butler ushering them out, helping people get their coats. They seem agitated about something. They're excited. They're discussing something excitedly. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. What do you think it's all about? Are you going? Well, I'm going.
I gingerly, scanter to one of them and tap them on the shoulder. Hello, my good sir.
Ah, yes.
How you doing?
I'm well. It's I've been better. It's a strange evening. We're having a strange evening. With strange things happening. I was at a wonderful party, and then some of the guests disappeared, and then there was news suddenly came that someone had destroyed the soul jar, and then there are all these spirits floating around, and it's terrifying. And then suddenly someone comes around announcing that there's going to be a meeting by the ruins of the soul jar, and all of the nobles are supposed to go. So I suppose I ought to head over there.
As he's talking, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was us. Yep, that's all matching up. Oh, man, it's been a while. Time's been frozen. And then it clicks that at the end, he said something about some random yelling and meeting at the soul jar, and I stop him. I'm like, can you say that last part one more time?
Yes, there was this weird man in black clothing floating around, shouting loudly, saying that all of the nobles are supposed to go over to the soul jar, the remains of the soul jar, for some sort of meeting. And there was a halfling sitting on his back, and we're supposed to meet over there for some sort of announcement about recent events.
I see. Well, now, that's interesting. Okay, yes, I'm a noble as well.
Are you? You don't look like that's interesting armor you're wearing.
Oh, yes, I'm one of the royal guards from one of the many, many great families here.
Royal guards there, but there's no king.
Oh, you're right. You know, nobles, rich people. You know what I mean. You get my candor.
I have to go. Good day to you.
Good day to you. And then I turn to the guards and I'm like, all right, stand still. I'm going to disguise you.
Sure. All right. Yeah, that sounds great.
So I'm going to use my disguise kit to, like, paint, like, mustaches and, like, makeup on the girl and, like, try to make them look very fancy and, you know.
But they're wearing armor and with weapons.
Yes. I'm going to try to find, like, a tarp or something on the street. I'm going to wrap it around them.
Oh, okay.
I just want, so the idea is I don't want Nondle to notice them because I'm going to disguise myself.
Okay, all right. All right, so make a disguise kit check. It's intelligence plus your proficiency bonus.
18.
18, all right, so it's a pretty good disguise. They don't look like nobles, but they look like people who are well off, and it's not obvious upon immediate inspection that they're armed and ready for a fight.
Got it. And then,
although they are carrying spears. You can't hide the spears, or the shield for that matter, I guess. They've each got a shield, but their armor is not obvious.
Okay. And then I disguise myself as, what do I want to be?
Were you going to go in and talk to the Danes?
Well, now that I've heard that, I'm
right.
thinking that maybe they're all going to be there.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going to disguise myself as a dwarf.
Okay.
I'm going to
using the disguise self spell?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I was going to say, I don't think you can just use your disguise kit for that.
No, with the disguise self.
All right.
And then I'm going to, like, braid. It's going to be in braids. He's going to have a braided beard and very slicked back hair and like an elegant robe.
Okay. All right. You appear to be a dwarf. Okay, so what are you doing now?
I tell them, onward to the soul jar.
All right. So you're heading to the soul jar as well. And what are Gaston and Mama Sass doing? Also heading to the soul jar?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you all head to the soul jar. Let's see if you're all going from the same direction. Nope, you don't run into each other on the way.
Okay.
So you arrive at the soul jar. It takes a while. It takes about 25 minutes to walk there. Is there anything else you want to do along the way? Or are you just heading straight? Everyone's just heading straight there?
Yeah, we're just casually walking.
Okay. As you near the central square, you see that a crowd has begun to form, and it has spilled beyond the square and into the nearby streets. The people nearest to the square are nobles, but there are people from all classes jostling for a look. The square itself is still filled with broken glass and lumps of stone from the shattered soul jar. Everyone is giving that area a wide berth. Apparently no one has really cleaned it up. No one's sure what to do with it. A few misty souls are circling overhead ominously. What do you want to do when you get there? Anyone?
Is there a crowd forming?
Yeah, there's a crowd around the square. In the middle of the square are nobles, but there are people from all walks of life around beyond that, crowded into the streets.
Okay, even though I'm disguised, I'm going to tell them that I'd like us all to stealth in, like mingle in between the crowd, kind of blend into the crowd.
All right. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a stealth check where you don't mind being seen, you just don't want to be sort of noticed.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, make a stealth check.
Okay.
Why would anyone want to break the soul jar?
Man, that's high.
That's an excellent question. I hate to think
24.
what happened to those
Okay,
souls.
you are not very noticeable. Your companions they stick out a bit more. They are, they're not being very inconspicuous. You push through the crowd. Are you pushing to the front of the crowd, or what are you doing?
I'm mingling towards the middle, and I'm trying to get a better view of what's going on because I have a sneaking suspicion that it's Nondle.
Sure.
But I'm also pondering the thing about the halfling. So I want to tell my two compatriots. So, who's this halfling? I only remember Nondle. Who's the little guy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember a halfling that hung around with him outside. Maybe he met someone inside. Maybe he's recruited an ally from inside. Yes, perhaps if he recruited an ally from inside, he might have more than one. Are you sure just the three of us can take him on?
I don't know. We're going to tread lightly. We're going to see how this goes. Let's listen and see what his plans are before we make our dashing move.
Is the city council gathering up like on a dais or anything like that?
So nobody is really stepping into the area where the soul jar was in the middle of the square because basically it's difficult terrain. It's covered in broken glass and stone. It's sort of sacred ground, or it was. No one really feels comfortable just walking out into that area. So there's sort of a circle of people that have formed around the ruins of this jar. But the people at the front of the circle are nobles and particularly city council members. Okay. So you recognize these people. They recognize you as well.
Okay. Gaston will go up there and start mingling and chatting it up.
All right. Yeah, they're all confused about who this person is that's called them in here and why, what this is about. The council didn't call a meeting. No one in the council has made any decisions about this, so they don't know what's going on. Aster, make a perception check.
Sure. 18.
18. All right. So you also see that at the front of this crowd there are a lot of nobles, and you recognize two of them. You, in fact, recognize that Gaston is dressed in some noble finery at the front of this crowd. And he's got his equipment on him, although he's maybe trying to make it not completely visible, not obvious. He's trying to make it not obvious to everyone that he's got this equipment. But he is wearing his short sword, and he's probably got some armor on underneath that fancy outfit he's wearing.
Of course I do.
So
you also notice that Mama Sass is standing next to him.
Oh, she's looming over him.
Yes, yeah, she's giant
Looming.
compared to him.
Does she have her? She brought her great axe.
Oh, yeah,
right?
just carrying her great axe, accordion
not
strung
good.
over her back.
That's a pretty cool
This
sight.
is not good for me.
Yes, and you think maybe Gaston has gained a little weight.
All right. So as I see him, I can't help but get a little emotional. And I don't know if my compatriots see this, but like a small, like watery eyes start forming under and then I remember some of the conversations with Nondle and some of my thoughts about the situation. Then I harden up a little bit. I start thinking, is it a good idea to involve Papa Gaston in this endeavor? So I start talking to Garlos. I say, Garlos.
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 Yeah, it's Garlos.
Sorry, your names are weird.
These are normal names in Arrival.
Okay, sure. And then I go, so, I might have found potential allies. There's some history there, but it seems like we're gonna need the help. I just want to warn you. I mean, they're great, but they're also kind of sneaky, so, guard yourselves, keep your stuff close.
Asnus speaks up, and she says, are these people... Should I be guarding my wallet?
Yes, definitely guard your wallet.
All right.
They might swap it for like a stone. You have a stone in your pocket.
All right.
Take your wallet.
Interesting company you keep. Are we on the right side here?
Oh, definitely. We're heroes. Have you not seen our great deeds?
Well, no. No, I haven't seen your great deeds. I've been guarding World 83 and guarding that magic door. That's pretty much all I've been doing. Sometimes I help the gnomes in the garden with the gardening. I haven't seen your great deeds. What should I know about your great deeds?
No, I'm sure you'll read them in a book someday. But truly, you are the real heroes guarding the World 83. You know, even though Nondle still slipped in. But but you're heroes. Now let's go walk over to those people over there and strike up a conversation.
All right. Well, you want us to talk?
No.
Oh, so you don't want us to strike up a conversation, then? You want us to be quiet?
Well, I mean, you can if you want, but first, me, obviously. I'll go first. And if you feel
okay.
brave enough to talk, go
Sure,
ahead.
boss. All right. You go ahead, boss. I'm right behind you.
I like you.
Garlos doesn't seem real bright.
Yeah. I like you, Carlos. Let's go. And I walk towards
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Great job, team, even though you suck.
19.
Yeah, you get the sense that Asnus is rolling her eyes as hard as she can.
She seems like the sharper of the two.
I
Yes.
respect that. Yeah.
So you make your way through the crowd, and as you get closer to the front, you can quickly gather from the conversations you're overhearing that these nobles do not know what's going on. They don't understand why they've been called here
Got it.
or who called them here.
Nice.
But you make it up to Mama Sass and Gaston, and they're engaged in conversation with some of these nobles.
Got it.
But perhaps if we just give the ghost cheese, they'll be happy. Just lots of cheese. Is that what I like?
ridiculous. Cheese? Who said that ghosts like cheese? I've never heard such a silly thing.
Everyone knows. Everyone likes cheese. It doesn't matter if you are alive or dead.
Really, Gaston, that's ridiculous. You're pulling my leg, aren't you? you get me every time. Oh, such a kidder, this one.
People are the worst.
I was being quite serious.
Gaston and Mama Sass, a dwarf. A dwarf walks up next to you and just stands there staring at you with two people dressed like very classy guards. They each have shields and a spear, and they're standing behind him. One of them looks irritated, and the other one looks really enthusiastic.
I kind of tighten my grip on my axe and eye the dwarf.
Can I help you?
How you doing, guys? How you doing?
Well, since it is the end of the world, I think I am fine.
Yeah, I feel that way too. It's been a day. You know what I mean? It's been a hard, long day. You look fabulous, my good sir.
I always look fabulous. This is something that doesn't need to be said, but I thank you for pointing it out.
And look, this one with you is just a joy. Look how big and strong she looks.
Yes, she always looks hungry. That is what I like about her.
Well, maybe if I'd gotten paid a little better, I would be not so hungry.
I look back at Gaston and I'm like, so, the world has been treating you well, huh?
But of course.
Yes.
And I have been treating it well.
Yes, the world is your oyster, isn't it?
Yes, and it has been opened, and I have eaten it all up.
I see. Well, you know, a mind as sharp as a knife.
Yes?
And then I nudge him. I'm like, it's me. It's me, Aster Fortuna, bard extraordinaire. It's me, Papa Gaston.
Aster? But you are an oily dwarf. What happened?
This is just a disguise.
Okay, tell me something else that only Aster would know.
You went into this weird place with me and we stole some stuff and you gave me a really cool sword and you stole a sword that gives you luck and all that jazz.
That is kind of vague, but spot on at the same time. What else? Tell me something else.
Asna nudges you with her elbow and says, I think he's looking for more compliments. I think he's fishing.
Oh, man, you're sharp. I look back to Gaston. I'm like, oh, Gaston, the greatest entertainer that has ever lived. Him and his incredible troupe slew the hearts of millions, and he claimed the world as his own.
Well, not yet. That last part, but I like where you're going with this.
Yes.
So, I assume this is disguise self that you've used.
Yeah.
If I were to just touch his hair or something, could I make a
You can
some
instantly tell that it is not.
Okay.
Yeah, with disguise self, basically, if you were to swing through the air above his head, you would hit him
Oh, okay.
because Aster is actually there.
Yeah, and I'm taller
Gotcha.
than a dwarf.
So I'm gonna like just kind of. It's gonna look really awkward, but Gaston is reaching up into this, up above the dwarf and like feeling the chin and stuff and the cheeks, and then he pinches this cheek up in the air and goes, "Oh yes, that is my boy."
And then I hug him, and it's weird because it looks like I hugged his leg, but I'm hugging his body too.
This is nice.
It's good to see you both. I look at Mama Sass. I'm like, Mama Sass, you look as impressive as ever.
Why, Aster Fortuna, it has been too long.
I go in to give him a big wet kiss on the cheek, and it's not his cheek because,
Yeah.
disguise self. It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Mama Sass, that's not my face.
Oh, my bad.
Make an insight check.
Everyone.
Anyone that wants to.
I know it's awkward. I don't have to roll for
Okay.
that.
All right.
Well, it's an 8, so I don't think it's
No,
awkward
you
at all.
do not
No, it's-
recognize. Ensna does a good job of concealing her expression.
I'm like, so dashing as ever, Mama Sass. Has Gaston been giving you any trouble?
He's been giving me a bit.
I need your help, guys. I know this is weird. I know I haven't seen you all in a very long time, but something dark is here, and I need your help to stop it.
Well, anything for you, Aster. You're the part of the family that I actually like.
She gives a pointed look at Gaston.
Thank you, Mama Sass. Then I look, he can't see, like he can see the dwarf, but
That helps me.
Aster is looking really carefully at Gaston for his response.
All right. He looks wounded.
Yes, but I think that, of course, I'm willing to help, but I don't quite understand. So, but yes, it's just pointing up to the sky like I have no idea what is going on. It seems like you have something. I feel like we should catch up, maybe, but is this time sensitive, or can we eat some cheese?
What is it with you and cheese right now?
Look at this belly of mine.
He loved
have a-
cheese.
Apparently.
I have grown this.
Do you have servants? Do you have servants that have followed you here to the square?
We would have brought two.
2 servants?
Two, yeah.
Okay.
One's holding a pillow with just, but nothing on it.
Just in case a pillow is needed for something.
There's just a pillow.
Okay. And the other one has cheese?
Yes, he's got a backpack full of it, and he's holding a bottle of wine with just like 2 glasses.
All
He's
right.
ready to go.
All right. Good. You're equipped.
Yes. Oh, let us celebrate the return of my son. Something. The return of my old friend. What is your fake name?
Oh,
Make it very dwarfy, because I can tell you haven't thought of this yet.
Thorgrin.
Thorgrin, yes. Let us drink to the return of Thorgrin. And have the servant pour out 2 glasses and just hands the whole bottle over to Mama Sass.
Well, that's not gonna end well.
But she takes it.
All right. So you share a drink and some cheese.
And I introduced them to my 2 compatriots.
All right. Yeah. So Aster has 2 sort of bewildered-looking people standing behind him, each with a spear and a shield. And as you have a closer look, if you spend some time watching them now, you can tell they're wearing armor and they're somewhat disguised to look fancy. But yeah, they're accompanying him.
This one, I can't really say her name. I'm not going to lie to you, Papa Gaston, but she's sharp. Sharp as a knife. And this other one, Gerlos.
My name is Ansna. Ansna.
And Ansna.
Yes, Ansna.
Ansna. Sharp as a knife. Gerlos. Super cool guy. You know.
Hey,
Aster.
I'm Garlos. Hey.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing? Hey,
is
you
up?
orc lady or you half orc. I don't mean to be offensive.
That's all right, Garlos. I don't mind. You look very pleasant.
Oh, I'm super pleasant. Yeah. What are we doing? Hey, are we gonna tell them about like all this?
Gerlos.
You don't want to tell them about the stuff outside.
No, not yet. And I nudge him and I go, you know, be careful with Mama Sass. She'll take a bite out of you, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I don't want that.
No, I mean... oh,
You
Carlos.
eat people?
No. Oh, no, she doesn't eat people, Carlos.
She might.
All right. Hey, I'm going to stand on this side over by the halfling, and I'll trade places with you.
Oh, Carlos, I was trying to... Never mind.
So,
guys.
oh, wait, we don't have to say so like here, do we? Okay, never
No,
mind.
don't do
So-
that. Please stop.
Yeah, I like being part of this conversation. It's pretty great. I appreciate you letting me in. It's fun.
Yeah, I do like you. All right, let's focus in, guys.
So I stop talking now. It's your turn to talk?
Yes,
Okay,
Carlos.
all right.
You're done.
I'm done talking.
You know, Garlos, I have confusion with that sometimes
I
as
know.
well.
It's difficult.
It is hard
Social
to
cues,
tell.
You got to pick up on those and figure out when you're supposed to stop. It's like the
Absolutely.
gnomes keep saying I have to start everything with so like, so I got used to saying so like, and now I don't have to do that anymore.
I
and
guess
don't-
you could still do it if you wanted
I
to.
could say so like. This is the way they talk outside, you know.
I
have
think that
no
sounds
idea
lovely.
what is going on.
Guys, focus in, focus in.
Exit stage left.
No, no, no.
What's to the left?
What's over my left or your left?
Easy our direction.
Ensna?
Yeah.
Aster, you have a hard name too. You need to be able to say
Ansna.
names.
Yes, my name is Ansna. Yes, what? I don't know what to do about him. He's an idiot.
Got you. Okay. Well, I'll just let him do his thing. All right, guys. Here's the plan. We're gonna listen in. Oh, by the way, the person who's about to talk, you know him, Papa Gaston. It's Nondle the Nimble.
Okay, should I make some kind of a check to see if I actually know, or do I? Is this close
This
enough?
is
for
an
a relationship?
underworld history check. Make that with advantage.
Okay. Oh, advantage. Where's my history at? Oh boy.
Oh my cow!
Double fives.
Do that.
Double fives.
It has been so long.
That's 7.
Yeah, you've heard of him before, but you don't remember much about him. But you could also make such a check if you'd like.
With advantage as well?
Yeah, you helped with some of the soothing symphonium's
Nondle the Nimble.
illicit activities.
I cannot say. I like the name. It is good. Perhaps I should have Augustin the Nimble. Yes.
17.
17. Oh yeah, you've heard of this guy. He's trouble.
Oh, I remember him. He's bad news.
Yeah, he let's see, what can I tell you about him?
Double fives.
You recognize that Nondle the Nimble is a well-known thief. He's known for being particularly ruthless. Excessive ruth was not something you ever worried about, but Nondle is an especially nasty piece of work. He is expensive to hire, and he always manages to pull off every job, no matter how difficult it seems. And you think that because you know that it's Nondle the Nimble, you also recognize that halfling. That halfling was Labos. He is known as a skilled and careful assassin for hire. Based on that, you would guess he's probably getting some kind of crew together.
You know, now that we're talking about Nondle, I recall that I recognize that halfling that was flying around. It was Labos.
Livos.
He's an assassin. This ain't good.
That reminded me really strongly of that Live Oak. You know that commercial?
I don't.
Live Oak.
I don't know that commercial.
Oh, sorry.
What is the commercial for in which someone shouts
I
live
think
oak?
it's. I think
Is there
it's
a tree cutting
like
service or something?
maybe a mobile home thing over in Live Oak. I
Oh.
don't know.
Okay.
And they're like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
nobody else has heard of it.
I
don't
I
think
think
so,
it's a
no.
radio commercial too. All
Huh.
right, just me. I'm just sitting here all lonely. Gaston's so lonely now with this thought.
Well,
Live Oak.
Thinking about his cheese again, you know.
It would solve this whole thing.
I look at Mama Sass. Oh, that's not good. That means that he's rounding up some, a troop of his own to...
That's what I think, too.
Garlo says, and you know what that means? That means like, I should definitely have something to eat. I gotta give me some of that cheese. If we're gonna have trouble, can't have trouble on an empty stomach, you know? I
Gaston
gotta,
snaps his fingers and points over at Carlos and just opens up that
all
backpack.
right.
And,
That's smart,
no.
Carlos.
Put it on the pillow first, and then Carlos, you
Ooh.
eat it off the pillow.
Fancy.
Yes, this is how it is
I
done
like
now.
it. This is great.
Yes.
I don't know why I can't say this girl's name. And then
Ansna.
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 My son. I am so happy we kept you back in 7th grade.
Maybe we should have kept it back another year.
It's almost as hard to say as prestidigitation.
I cannot say that.
That is a legit
Prestidigitation.
hard word to say.
Did I say it? Prestidigitation?
No.
Prestidigitation.
There was a G that was missing in there.
Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
Close
No.
enough.
One day, Aster will know how to speak words. I message
Make an English check. fail.
Anenza,
Ansna.
Enzna, and
There,
I'll
yes,
say,
you got it.
let me put like a,
I'm not going to try to say it now. 'Cause it's like,
No.
No.
Too bars too high.
I look at her, and then I send a message, and I say, I kind of know now how Nondle was able to get into the world so easily.
Okay, can she reply with message?
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, "Whoa, that's weird. You're speaking in my head without permission." But okay, so he wasn't actually guarding the door at the time. So yes, he's dumb, but don't blame that on him. He was just one of the guards that Olgabar grabbed.
Got you. All right, seems good to me.
So
All right.
I am afraid I do not understand what is happening. So Nondle the Nimble, some dude, he is doing some bad stuff.
He's a
Yes?
thief.
He
We
has-
knew him back in the day.
He has something to do with soldier? Did he crush the soldier?
I'm worried that this whole situation might be a trap, 'cause they were the one that called us here.
Okay, so let us leave. Yes?
Well, I kind of want to hear what he has to say. At least I want to. You know what? Let's move away from the crowd and find a more sneaky place to approach from. Oh, just remembered. He can't be surprised. He literally cannot be surprised.
Why not?
He has some kind of weird sword that alerts him.
Oh, weird sword. I know about these.
Yes, you do, Papa Gaston.
Okay, let us. So, like, he is omniscient? Omnipresent? What?
He just knows when someone's about to do something. He's quick on the draw.
So then, we cannot beat him then. This is hopeless.
That's why I kind of just want to listen in to what he has to say. I want to know what his plans are.
Let us. So,
But maybe not crowded in this huge group of people where we could easily be destroyed all at once.
So we need to have two minds at once. One mind saying we're going to be his friend, and the second mind that takes a nap. You keep it, and it wakes up just before we attack him. Zah! Does that make any sense? No. Okay. Everybody looks confused.
I don't think it works that way.
Okay.
Carlos says, "I bet that would work. That sounds good to me."
See, he would be good at this. He is the key to everything.
I just had an idea. I don't understand what you were trying to say, but I do have a plan. Papa Gaston, you're a smooth talker. The greatest in the land.
The smoothest talker of all. Almost as smooth as your oily hair.
Yes. So,
He touches it.
he's touching right
But
now.
not.
So I say to him, so we need you to kind of get in there when they're having those big talks and see if you can distract him.
But he cannot be surprised. So
No, but maybe you can convince him to have a private conversation, and then we can all jump on him. He can't escape all of us.
So let me remind you what it means that he can't be surprised. That just means that if you decide to attack him, you don't get a surprise round. That's what that
okay,
means.
he's
You
not
can-
like
So we can attack him.
You
He's not
can
God.
attack him. It's just that you don't get a round in which you get to act and he does not. He gets to act whenever you get to act.
that's
so-
fair. Okay, so
Right.
it's
Pretty good
surprised
stuff.
the mechanically, not surprised like he knows everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he
So we
doesn't-
sort that out.
Yes, he's not able to dodge anything you throw at him.
Okay.
He's just unable to suffer the effects of a round in which he is surprised.
Yeah, so, we want to kind of get him away and pounce. Maybe that might work.
So you are not sure what his plan is, but he is here, and
So it's a long story, Papa Gaston. Something happened. where
I
the
feel
soul
like
jar-
there's a lot I do not know.
Yeah, the soul jar was broken, you know?
Yes.
Of course, we all know that.
And what that meant was that, I don't know how to explain this without freaking you all out, but we're trapped in a giant jar of glass.
Carlos, is this true, man? I mean, like outside, it looks like a big jar.
Wait, Carlos, hold on.
Mama Sass
Hey,
looks
how
up and
did-
around.
I don't think that seems right.
How did the soul jar get broken though? Like we still haven't heard about that.
Who's saying that?
Garlos is saying, hey, like I don't know. We still don't know who broke it though.
It was a pirate, is what I heard.
Pirate
And
oh, man,
some
I hate
other
pirates.
people.
Aster gets like more perspiration on his like forehead, and he's contemplating whether he should even mention that he partook in the smashing of that jar.
So hold on. This is a lot for me to take in. You're saying that I live in a jar.
Yeah,
We are like a bunch of pickles.
kind of. Yeah.
I don't know if I can believe you. This is all a big...
It's a little much.
Yes, I understand. You might not believe me, but I need you to trust me. Something big is happening, and these people are about to do something that can affect your wealth and your well-being.
Oh, I need him to keep his wealth.
Yes.
Yes.
He's
I
got a
need to
deal
keep
to
my
hold up.
wealth as well.
Ansna says, yeah, I know this sounds ridiculous, but actually he's telling the truth. We are all trapped in a giant jar like people in a pickle jar. It's true, yes. Although it's more like sloped shaped on the sides. It's not straight up and down like a pickle jar. You know, it's a little different. But yes, yeah, he's not making that up.
And she's sharp as a knife, Papa Gaston. So
Does
you can
that
believe
mean
her.
that there's pickles in here somewhere?
Yes, there are pickles in here somewhere.
Yeah, Gaston snaps his fingers, and the guy busts out some pickles and puts it
Oh,
on the pillow.
fantastic.
I
Love
just
me some
look-
pickles.
I look at Ensna. Did I say that?
Ensna, yes.
Yeah. And I go, anyway, so does that sound like a good plan?
Yes, but this is ridiculous. This is all a big joke, I think. But I will trust you, and we can try to do this. I will. So the plan is for me to talk to him and try to get him.
He seems to know you more than you know him.
Of course, he knows me more than I know him. This should be obvious to everyone.
Of course. But he knows you as a very interesting fellow and someone that he probably doesn't trust. But he also knows, most likely, that you're well off, and maybe that might play to an advantage he might have in his head. Now, I want to be careful because I've tried to play this man before, and he's a sneaky, conniving when it's hard to get anything on him.
Yes, he cannot be surprised. I don't know how I know this, but I know it. I know lots of things.
Well, you know it because Aster just told us about it.
No. I knew that before. I was just making him feel good about himself.
That's very generous of you.
That is what I do. I am very giving. You of all people should know this.
I do not know this thing for a fact.
So then I look at them, I'm like, all right, so plan. Distract Nondle enough for maybe Mama Sass and my guards can try to grapple him and the halfling. The thing is, we don't know if there's more than just the two of them.
So as you say that, you hear a murmuring coming from the back of the crowd to the west. And the crowd starts to sort of move apart as a group is led by a large orc. And this orc pushes its way to the front of the crowd. And the orc clears a path through the broken glass and stands with his arms crossed, while the rest of the group behind him, which is led by Nondle the Nimble, makes its way to the middle of the square, stepping carefully around all the broken glass and stone. Following his lead are another human, a dwarf, and that halfling. Nondle is wearing a colorful tabard over some impressively ornamented leather armor. Aster is not his normal leather armor. He climbs onto a chunk of stone and clears his throat. The sound seems magically amplified, and he begins to speak. Fellow citizens of Arrival, esteemed council members and nobles, I am Nondle, sometimes known as Nondle the Noble, though of course I did not choose that name for myself. I have asked you here today to give you a warning and offer you protection. I have ventured outside this world, carried out by spirits I now know to be evil. I have seen what lies outside. The crowd gasps. It is a wasteland of monsters and wicked souls. It offers golden delights to tempt those who escape, but lures them to their deaths. There are no gods there and no hope of salvation. Whatever gods might have existed there and created our world, they are long gone. Some others who were carried out with me have also come back in, I have heard. Do not trust them. They want to lure you out to that deadly place. I was not tempted by this world. Instead, I found the sources of our rivers and repaired the damage done by centuries of neglect, as well as the vicious attacks of the creatures outside, who envy our safety. I have also given the rivers additional magical protection, so that they should last us forever. You are safe now. There are murmurs of excitement that spread through the crowd, but the crowd also appears to relax at the same time. Someone shouts, "What about those evil spirits? Some of them are still trapped in here with us." Nondle looks cross for a moment, but then he smiles. "A good point, friend. I have made arrangements to deal with them as well. Observe." He raises his right hand, pointing a black rod with a glass bulb on one end at a spirit circling overhead. The soul suddenly stops circling and is rapidly pulled downward and then sucked into the rod. "And that is not all that it can do, and that I can do. We can rid ourselves forever of these spirits. We do not have to leave them trapped in a jar, forever threatening us if some hoodlums should damage it." He flips a switch on the rod and holds it up for everyone to see. There is a flash from the glass bulb at the end of the rod. "I have destroyed this soul so that it will never trouble us again. Indeed, I can do this with any soul." The crowd looks relieved. "Now, I am afraid I will have to insist on a few changes for your own protection. I'll be taking over as head of the Council of Arrival. No, I shall not be a king. Rather, I shall be first citizen. I apologize for calling such a late meeting, council members, but I must insist that for safety reasons, planning must begin immediately. We can retire to one of this world's oldest institutions, the Ealdegastern." He points to the ancient inn and tavern in the northeast corner of the square.
I yell in the middle of his conversation in my impersonation of a Thorgrim-like character. "How can we believe what you're saying is true?"
"Well, I've just demonstrated my abilities, my fine dwarf. I've just shown you what's true, and you all saw the lid removed earlier, and it is indeed a lid that keeps us safe from the monsters outside. Now, I must ask the rest of you to disperse. I will issue more pronouncements and announcements tomorrow morning. The council may join me at the inn."
Shouldn't the council investigate outside with you to make sure of what you say?
"Oh, I'm afraid it's not at all safe. If you have further complaints, you could bring them inside. I can deal with you in there." And at that, another person steps forward from the crowd. It's an elderly elf who's wearing noble clothing. You recognize him, Gaston, as one of the council members. He pushes against the flow of the crowd that's beginning to move away, and he speaks up, and he says, "Now, just a minute, young man. No one gets to declare themselves first citizen, and you don't just decide that you can issue pronouncements to the citizens of Arrival." Nondle smiles, and as quick as a whip, he points the black rod at the old elf. And a gray mist is suddenly sucked out of the elf's body and into the rod. And the elf's body just stands there looking stunned before collapsing to the ground. "Now, remember I said that I could use this on any soul. But I'm not cruel. I only want to help you make better decisions. Power is best wielded by those who know more and can make the wisest decisions for others." He points the rod at the collapsed elf, flicks a switch, and suddenly the gray, misty soul is ejected from the rod and back into the body of the elf. And the elf gradually picks himself up from the ground, looking terrified. Some nobles around him help him walk toward the tavern. Nondle's crew of thugs looks around at the crowd menacingly. Make a perception check, everyone.
17.
Anyone else?
21.
19.
All right, you all notice that some of the city guards are slipping away into the crowd. Like they're leaving.
They're leaving?
They're leaving.
Can we get an idea of why? Does it look like they're scared or that they're...
Yeah, they look terrified. In
Okay.
fact, some of the crowd looks terrified too.
Valid.
Is there a captain of the guard that's present, or
What was your roll again?
17?
You don't see him immediately around. Let's see if yeah, you don't see him.
I know that the sword doesn't allow a surprise round
Right.
for him.
Mm-hmm.
But if I turned invisible
Uh-huh.
and approached and tried to sleight of hand take the rod from him, would that be considered?
He would get to oppose it.
So Gaston turns to the crowd, just not like a big speech or anything, but just like I believe that this Nondle can be trusted, and we shall have this all worked out by the morning.
They look skeptical, but some of them say, we probably better have a talk with him, and let's go to the
Yes,
inn.
let us. I shall meet you in there. And this speaking to the whatever council members that are present. Yes, we shall have this all sorted out. Is there? So First Citizen is like executive authority kind of.
There is no such title.
Okay, okay, I love it. Kind of a little jealous. Yes, we will have this all sorted out, and maybe perhaps, yes, we can. The council shall work with this new figure. See if we can come to some arrangement.
Okay.
What all the council members just look scared?
They look scared and nervous, but they also are responsible people, and
Okay.
so they're going to head toward the inn.
Okay.
I yell again. So are you all having a meeting? Is the council members going to talk with you, Sir Nondle?
Sir Dwarf, you're beginning to irritate me slightly. Shall I have another demonstration?
No. I'm just very curious about what's going on or our well-being.
What was your tool check again? Do you remember? Oh, it doesn't matter. He rolled terrible. He hasn't picked up on your disguise, your disguised friends.
Oh, I'll take care of your safety. You'll be fine in my hands, my capable hands.
Of course.
I'm going to cast message to Aster and say,
Don't go far. We'll go into this meeting and I'll let you know what's going on.
Yes, I'm probably going to turn invisible and sneak in.
All right. Well, you do notice that most of the council members have bodyguards, and they're taking their bodyguards in with them.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna come. You don't have to be invisible.
Okay. And I'm about to do that, though.
Okay.
How long does
What's up with
invisibility
this?
last?
Is Nondle still giving in speech mode, or
Nope.
is he kind
He is sort of ushering people. While he's standing behind his thugs, while his thugs sort of usher people toward the
Okay, gotcha.
the building.
If so, Gaston will attempt to walk up to him. Does anybody stop him as he approaches?
Yeah. So the orc is sort of standing in front of him, and the orc
Okay.
points toward the building.
Is Nondle a halfling too?
No, Nondle's a human.
Human? Okay. So the orc stops Gaston, and Gaston says, I just want to talk to Nondle as a nobleman to a nobleman.
You can talk to him inside.
But I need to talk to
Little
him. in
man,
private."
I'm not as nice as Nondle. I'll squish you up and eat you for breakfast.
Mama Sass has followed Gaston over and is looming over him, as she does, and glares at this orc and says,
You could give it a try if you want.
Oh, now you I'd do something different with. Hey, we could go out and have some fun.
You're not my type.
Oh, that's too bad. Could I be your type if my voice was gruffer? Would that help?
I gotta tell you, it ain't the voice that's the problem.
What if I went even deeper?
Well, then maybe I could go even deeper.
I don't know if I can go deeper than
I think
this.
this is about the limits of my deepness.
And this isn't doing it for you.
Nope, not so much.
Okay, then never mind.
That's a good try, though, fella.
Thanks.
I don't want to stand in between this right now.
This is amazing. True flirtation at work.
It's like watching two bears try to kiss.
It's a beautiful thing, Papa Gaston. Truly,
Yes,
truly beautiful.
If that is what you want to call it, yes, it is. It surely is beautiful.
In my experience, bears are not good kissers. I've tried.
I've had that happen once or twice. It's
Yeah.
not a fun
No, it doesn't
situation.
go over well.
Don't fight over me. I know I look delicious, but there's no need for that. We have some cheese.
I do
And
like cheese.
pickles.
Pickles. All right, you bring them on in there. We'll have a nice little sit down.
That is fine. That is fine. Okay, Gaston walks away.
I catch up to him in my dwarven form. That went well.
Of course, that went exactly as I planned it to do.
I have an idea. It seems like at least he wants to allow you guys to have a sit down. If at any point Nondle can put down that rod which sucks souls, I can try to steal it. Without that weapon, he'd be much less of an imposing figure.
That would be wonderful. Although I am not afraid of him, I have no soul. And Gaston gives you a wink.
Huh. And just contemplates that for a second.
All right. You're all going into the building?
I suppose we have no choice. This is, we are going to have to, whatever plan we were going to have, it's going to happen in this building, I think. And we are going to have to do something about these thugs, especially that orc. Hey, something about men is that you can use their weakness against them. Looking at Mama Sass.
Again, you're dashing.
You can...
No one can resist your charms.
Obviously.
Awesome. So that is one plan. Perhaps you can lure him into another area and we can take care of him.
Oh, I'd take care of him all right. She pats her axe.
Do we have any way of making something silent or something? Like anyone? No? Okay. Maybe that won't work because I know that if I was caught in a room alone with Mama Sass, I would be screaming for help. So maybe that is not the best plan either.
That's how it is with most fellas.
So that's what Gaston's like thinking, that maybe there's a way we can... So it'll be hard to get him alone by himself, it seems, him being Nondle. But maybe one at a time we can
minions.
take the minions out, because it may be hard to fight them all in one big scrum.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to our advantage. So that's at least that orc fellow, maybe we can take him out on the side. But it might be... I don't know. What's the layout of this building? Is it...
It's one of the oldest buildings in Arrival. It's a wooden inn surrounded by much higher quality stone buildings. And it has a large common room when you first go in. Lots of old wooden tables that people have been carving things into for centuries. And it's homey, comfortable.
Do we have any of us ever been in it to know kind of the layout, if they've got like a basement or...
Yeah, they have a
wine
cellar.
cellar?
Gaston has been in here plenty of times.
Okay.
Mama Sass has probably been in here a few times. Aster, I don't know if you've ever been in here. This is considered like a fancy place of historical importance. I don't
like
know
a
if it's
historic
Aster's
site.
style.
No, unless we were stealing something.
Right. They usher you inside, the orc making sure that everyone else is in before shutting the doors.
And with that, we were shut inside that ancient inn, trapped inside with Nondle and his thugs and a group of cowering nobles. How do you think I got out of this one? Count yourself fortunate, friend, for you will find out next time. Until then, I, Aster Fortuna, Bard Extraordinaire, wish you well.